back. তো সেরকম আর কি, ঢোল পিটাইতে যায় অন্য কেউ আমরা হাইলাইট করব।
ওকে,
টিনা ম্যাডাম তো ঢোল পিটানোর জন্য আমেরিকা চলে গেছেন, তো এরকম হইতে পারে, আমাদের এরকম সুযোগ থাকলে আমরা যাব।
স্যার আমি তো চেষ্টা করতেছি স্যার, ইনশাআল্লাহ আমরা আমাদের সামিটটা হবে নিশ্চয়ই। আমি কিছু লিড তৈরি করছি।
ওইটা নভেম্বরের সঙ্গে যদি মার্চ করা যায়, কারণ নভেম্বরে ফোবানা আর আবিয়া একসঙ্গে সেমিনার করছি আমরা।
জি,
তাহলে একটা প্যানেল, আমাদের 3-4টা প্যানেল থাকবে, কিন্তু আপনাদেরকে নিয়ে একটা প্যানেল করতে পারলে, যদি জিয়াউল আলম ভাই আসতে পারতেন বা বিকরণদা আসতে পারতেন, আপনি যদি এখানে থেকেই যান টিনা।
ওনা থাকতে পারবো না, থাকা যাবে না, আমি তো ওভারস্টেট করেছি।
ওনাকে আসতে হবে একবার, প্রয়োজনে আবার যাবেন।
হ্যাঁ, সেই
না না, আমাকে আসতে হবে।
মানে এখানে তখন একটা এখানে সবচেয়ে বড় হবে, ক্রাউডের আগমন হবে ওই সময়টা, নভেম্বরে আর কি, 26, 27, 28। আর
ফোবানাটা খুব ভালো একটা, এটা একটা বিরাট একটা আয়োজন হয়, একটা ফোরাম। ইটস দ্য লার্জেস্ট ফোরাম ফর বাংলাদেশিজ, রাইট আনিস ভাই? আনলাইক দি আদার ওয়ান, প্রবাসী। সো স্যার এখানে আপনার বিভিন্ন রকম কালচারাল জিনিসটা হয়, এছাড়াও বিভিন্ন রকমের ইনভেস্টমেন্ট ডিসকাশনস, ফোরামস হয়। সো আমার মনে হয় যে যদি আমরা আইসিটি থেকে কোনো রিপ্রেজেন্টেটিভ থাকতে পারে ওই সময়, খুব ভালো হয়, এবং ইটস আ প্রেপ ওয়ার্ক।
কারণ আরেকটা জাস্ট আমি শুধু ক্লারিফাই দেই, যে ক্লারিফিকেশন দেই যে এইবারে ফোবানা আর আবিয়া একসঙ্গে আমরা জয়েন্টলি সেমিনারটা করতেছি। সো ইটস অ্যাসাইড দ্য কালচারাল এন্ড অল দি আদার থিংস, আমরা 2 দিনের প্রোগ্রাম, আমাদের শনি রবিবার পুরো 2টা দিন কনফারেন্স হবে আর কি। এই সায়েন্টিফিক, ইকোনমিক, টেকনোলজি এভরিথিং থাকবে তার মধ্যে, এবং প্যানেল, আইসিটি, ন্যানো টেকনোলজি, তারপরে রেজিলিয়েন্সি, সার্ভাইভেবিলিটি, যেটা বাংলাদেশের জন্য খুব একটা ইম্পর্টেন্ট টপিক, তারপরে ইকোনমিক ডেভেলপমেন্ট, ফস্টারিং অফ ইকোনমিক অ্যাক্টিভিটিস, এগুলি সব আমরা অ্যাড করার চেষ্টা করছি। কাজে যদি আইসিটি মিনিস্ট্রি যদি আমাদেরকে কোনো রিপ্রেজেন্টেটিভ দেন, বা আপনারা মোর দেন ওয়ান, ইউ আর ওয়েলকাম এনি টাইম, এনি নাম্বার অফ ইউ, ইনক্লুডিং হাইটেক পার্ক অথরিটি, সবাই যদি আসেন, খুব একটা ভালো ফোরাম হবে তাহলে।
সেটাই। আনিস ভাই, আমরা বোধহয় শুরু করতে পারি এখন।
আমার মনে হয় শুরু করে দেওয়াই ভালো। আমরা যদিও বলছিলাম যে 5 মিনিট না 10 মিনিট বলছিলাম যে করব, তো ঠিক আছে, 8 মিনিট, আমরা 2 মিনিটের মধ্যে শুরু করে দিই না?
শিওর। হ্যাঁ।
হ্যালো আনিস, হ্যালো ফয়সাল, আসসালামু আলাইকুম। ফারুক,
কি খবর? ভালো আছেন সবাই?
আমি আজকে বেশিক্ষণ থাকতে পারবো না। I got two simultaneous Zoom things going, okay? I'll cut out from one to the other and back and forth, okay?
আপনার এখানে ড্রাগন আসলো কোথা থেকে? আপনি কি চায়না গেছিলেন না কোথায়?
না, আমাদের ফিলাডেলফিয়াতে ওই চাইনিজ ল্যান্টার্ন ফেস্টিভ্যাল হয়েছিল, ওখান থেকে তোলা।
আচ্ছা।
আর আজকে ওয়েলস খেলছে ইউরোপিয়ান ফুটবল অ্যাসোসিয়েশন চ্যাম্পিয়নশিপে। তারাও তো ড্রাগন, না?
আরে আমি তো খালি টেনিস দেখি। আমাদের এই খেলছিল আজকে, কি স্যাম কোয়ারি হেরে গেল, খুবই খারাপ লাগছে এখন, একটুর জন্য হেরে গেল। আমেরিকানরা টেনিসের মধ্যে আর টপে যেতে পারছে না, মোর অর লেস।
আচ্ছা আনিস ভাই, ওই ইকোনমিক মিনিস্টার মিস্টার মেহেদী হাসান আসার কথা।
হ্যাঁ, উনি আসলে তুমি একটু ইন্ট্রো দিয়ে দিও।
হ্যাঁ ঠিক আছে, আমি ডেফিনেটলি।
ওনাকে আমি ফোন করেছিলাম কিন্তু কথা হয়নি, আমি মেসেজ।
আমার সাথে একটু আগে কথা হলো, উনি আসলে বাইরে, তো উনি বলছেন যে আমি গাড়িতে বা যেখানেই থাকি, আই উইল ট্রাই টু অ্যাটেন্ড।
আচ্ছা, এই যে আমাদের স্লাইডের মধ্যে আমরা অলরেডি ওনাকে অ্যাড করেছি, এবং অলসো উই অ্যাডেড মিস্টার সেলিম রেজা, কমার্স কাউন্সিলর।
হ্যাঁ,
তো এখন ওরা যদি থাকতে পারে ভালো, আর যদি না হলে আমরা নেক্সট টাইমে উইল মেক শিওর যে
ওটা একটু লাস্ট মিনিট তো। হ্যাঁ, এই জন্যই হয়তো বা উনি পারবেন।
শিমুল বলছি সিলিকন ভ্যালি থেকে।
এই শিমুল ভাই, কি খবর? ভালো?
তো আমি আজকে যে প্রোগ্রামটা এখানে সেটা কি আপনার ওই যে আমরা গতবার যখন এমবাসি লোক আসলো সিলিকন ভ্যালিতে আমি একটা কোশ্চেন দেখেছিলাম যে লাইক why I have to hire East European Indian folks for web development or AI or whatnot, right? So are you going to be discussing those things part of this forum today? Because
আপনি Q&A তে যোগ দিতে পারেন না
হ্যাঁ
আপনার বক্তব্য যদি কিছু থাকে তখন আপনি বলবেন that will be a very good topic as well.
Absolutely, হ্যাঁ সেটাই। Now we'll touch a little bit আসলে আজকে সময় পাবো কিনা জানি না, মানে অনেক স্পিকার আছেন, so we'll try to touch that. আর শিমুল ভাই আমরা ডিসিতে ওয়াশিংটন ডিসিতে আরেকটা ওরকম টাইপের প্রোগ্রাম করব শিগগিরই, তো তখন we'll have specific topics on that for sure.
That'd be awesome, yeah.
হ্যাঁ
তাহলে আমরা কি ফর্মালি শুরু করব?
হ্যাঁ করে দেন, কারণ
কারণ বাংলাদেশে রাত হয়ে যাচ্ছে, কালকে তো সবারই অফিস আছে না, কাজে উই ক্যান বি থ্যাঙ্কফুল এনাফ যে আপনারা এত কষ্ট করে এত রাত্রে জয়েন করছেন আমাদের সঙ্গে। So let's just get started. আজকের ওয়েবিনার হচ্ছে ইকোনমিক গ্রোথ ভিয়া টেকনোলজি ডেভেলপমেন্ট ইন বাংলাদেশ ফর দি গ্লোবাল মার্কেট। তো এটাই হচ্ছে ইম্পর্টেন্ট, এবং আমাদের গেস্ট যারা আছেন আমি এই মুহূর্তে তাদের সঙ্গে আপনাদের পরিচয় করে দেব, আর আমি বাংলা ইংরেজি মিশিয়ে বলবো, কাজে আপনাদের কোনো প্রশ্ন থাকলে করবেন। তো আজকের প্ল্যানটা হচ্ছে যে এই প্রথমেই প্যানেল ডিসকাশন দিয়ে শুরু হবে, প্যানেল ডিসকাশনের পরেই চিফ গেস্টের আমাদের জিয়াউল আলম ভাই আছেন, সিনিয়র সেক্রেটারি, উনি আমাদের চিফ গেস্ট আজকের, এবং ওনার মেসেজটা আমরা তখন শুনবো, তারপরে Q&A। তো আমাদের প্যানেল হচ্ছে স্টার্টিং ফ্রম SM রিজাউল আলম, উনি হচ্ছেন চেয়ারম্যান অফ ওয়ালটন ডিজিটেক ইন্ডাস্ট্রিজ লিমিটেড, that is he is one of the founder director of Walton High Tech Industries Limited. Mr. Alam also played a key role in achieving success, the long cherished dream of making Bangladesh as the major producer of IT related products. His humble background and the struggle that he had to endure to attain success have made him a man of action and empathy, and Bangladesh needs more of them. আমাদের প্যানেলে আরো আছেন মিস টিনা জাবিন, she is very well known. She is appointed as the first managing director and chief executive officer of Startup Bangladesh Limited by ICT division, the first and only venture capital fund sponsored by the government of Bangladesh. With this inaugural appointment, the GOB, Government of Bangladesh, recognizes the opportunity to continue promoting talent and innovation within key sectors that advance Bangladesh's vision for and position in a new global economy. আমাদের প্যানেলে আরো আছেন মিস্টার বিকর্ণ কুমার ঘোষ, উনি কাইন্ডলি আমাদেরকে ওনার বায়োটা বাংলায় দিয়েছিলেন, which is the exception, so আমি বাংলায় পড়ছি। উনি ব্যবস্থাপনা পরিচালক এবং অতিরিক্ত সচিব, বাংলাদেশ হাইটেক পার্ক কর্তৃপক্ষ, তথ্য ও যোগাযোগ প্রযুক্তি বিভাগের অতিরিক্ত সচিব, পরিকল্পনা উন্নয়ন হিসেবে দায়িত্ব পালন করেছেন। সারা দেশে 2600 ইউনিয়নের ব্রডব্যান্ড কানেক্টিভিটি ইনফো সরকার 3 প্রকল্পের প্রকল্প পরিচালকের দায়িত্বেও রয়েছেন তিনি। জনাব ঘোষ বৃহত্তর যশোর সমিতি ঢাকা এর সহসভাপতি। তিনি রাজশাহী মেডিকেল কলেজ থেকে MBBS পাশ করে 1993 সালে সহকারী কমিশনার হিসাবে খুলনা জেলায় যোগদান করেন। এরপর নড়াইল, মাগুরা, নীলফামারী, রাঙামাটি, ময়মনসিংহ, বগুড়া, গাজীপুর জেলায় প্রশাসনের বিভিন্ন পদে সফলতার সঙ্গে দায়িত্ব পালন করেন, এবং এখন ওনার গোল হচ্ছে হাইটেক পার্ককে ওয়ার্ল্ড ফোরামে নিয়ে যাওয়া। আমাদের মাহদিউজ্জামান, আমরা যাকে সবাই আদর করে অপু বলি, he has been in IT industry over 30 years, focusing on cloud security, innovation and entrepreneurship. He is currently leading solutions architect team at Amazon Web Services. Prior to Amazon Web Services, he worked in leading positions at Dell, but Virtustream, Verizon, and other organizations. In Bangladesh, he is the founder of Cloud Camp Bangladesh, established several IT organizations such as Movio App, Chorui, Cloud of Choice, and others, and a board member of several organizations, including Bangladesh Innovation Forum, Shadhin Lab, Computer Graphics and Design. He has been working very closely with BASIS, which is the counterpart of AABEA in Bangladesh, so to speak, for NASA Space App Challenge, representing Bangladesh globally. And last but not least, Faisal Kadir on the panel. He is our president, meaning AABEA president, current AABEA president, but he is also president of a technology company called Technof LLC, located in Washington, DC metro area. His company, Technof, is providing strategic leadership for the company by working with the board and other management to establish long-range goals, strategies, plans, and policies. Plan, develop, organize, implement, direct, and evaluate the organization's fiscal function and performance, especially in the technology area. Significant leadership of the technology sector with vision and skills to provide direction to his company. So with that, let me invite Mr. S.M. Ziaul Alam, chairman, to give his talk. And if Ziaul Alam Bhai is here, you can get started.
Okay, we can start.
I think Shamim ভাইয়ের কথা বলতেছেন, জিয়াউল আলম শাহ ওয়ালটন থেকে। আমি not sure, I don't see him yet.
No, I mean Rezaul Alam, not Ziaul Alam. I'm sorry, my apologies.
Reza.
Chairman of Walton, which is the part of the panel.
জি জি জি, আমি অবশ্য রেজাউল আলম ভাইকে এই মুহূর্তে দেখতেছি না এখানে, সো মেবি।
আচ্ছা, তাহলে আমরা টিনা আপাকে দিয়ে শুরু করি। উনি আসলে ওনাকে আমরা আবার ইনক্লুড করব তখন। টিনা আপা, আপনি আপনার প্রেজেন্টেশন তাহলে চলে যান।
আমার মনে হয় টিনা আপাকে আপনি একটু স্ক্রিন শেয়ার করার পারমিশনটা দিতে।
হ্যাঁ, স্ক্রিন শেয়ার করার পারমিশন সবাই আছে।
এক্সকিউজ মি, আমার মনে হয় আপনার ওই সেক্রেটারি সাহেব ছিলেন। আই স হিম ইন দ্য স্ক্রিন।
না, সেক্রেটারি আমাদের চিফ গেস্ট, উনি আসবেন
না। উনি ছিলেন একটু আগে, আপনি যখন তার নাম ঘোষণা করলেন,
উনি এখনো আছেন। হারিস ভাই, উনি এখনো আছেন। উনি হচ্ছেন আমাদের চিফ গেস্ট, এন্ড হি উইল প্রেজেন্ট দি চিফ গেস্ট মেসেজ।
ওকে।
আমরা আসসালামু আলাইকুম, থ্যাংক ইউ। আমরা আমাদের সিনিয়র সেক্রেটারি স্যারকে একটু সময় দেই সবার কথা শোনার, দেন as the chief guest he can probably share his comments if that's okay.
Right.
Thank you.
টিনা আপা, আপনি আপনার প্রেজেন্টেশন ভিডিও শুরু করেন।
আমি প্রেজেন্টেশনটা শুরু করব একটা ভিডিও দিয়ে। আমি একটু জামান ভাই, আপনাকে একটু রিকোয়েস্ট করছি, আপনার সাথে ভিডিওগুলো শেয়ার করেছি, আপনি যদি একটু প্রথমটা একটু শেয়ার করেন।
Absolutely. আমি শেয়ার
So,
করতেছি।
while that is coming up, I would like to thank AABEA and of course Anis Bhai and Zaman Bhai for inviting me and to arrange this. And also I understand that Mr. Faisal Kadir, who is the current president of AABEA, thank you so much for arranging this, because this is extremely timely, especially for Bangladesh, because we are diversifying our export basket. That means we are moving into technology, and my special area of interest and expertise is technology and startup ecosystem, venture capital. So for the last 5 years I have been assisting the ICT division to put together some of the platforms to develop and foster a startup ecosystem in Bangladesh. Obviously, this is under the Digital Bangladesh umbrella, which is the dream child of our Honorable ICT advisor, Mr. Sajib Wajid Joy. I represent Startup Bangladesh Limited, and it, as Anis Bhai said, that it is the first venture capital fund and one of the very few in the world which has been launched by a very gracious allocation from our Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. And it is our pleasure to launch it in 2020 to commemorate Mujib Borsho. So with that, I would ask Zaman Bhai if you can please share the video with.
আমাদের স্টার্টআপ ইকোসিস্টেমকে শুধু বাংলাদেশে না পুরো গ্লোবালি আমরা ফ্ল্যাগ বেয়ারার হিসাবে তৈরি করব, প্রতিষ্ঠিত করব।
আমাদের যারা প্রাইভেট এন্টারপ্রেনার আছে, স্মল মাইক্রো মিডিয়াম এন্টারপ্রেনার্স আছেন, ইনোভেটিভ ক্রিয়েটিভ এন্টারপ্রেনার্স আছেন, তাদের যে ফান্ডিং যে গ্যাপ, অর্থাৎ তাদের যে রিকোয়ার্ড ফাইন্যান্সিয়াল সাপোর্ট প্রয়োজন, একটা ফাইন্যান্সিয়াল ইনস্টিটিউশনের সাথে একটা স্টার্টআপের যে একটা দূরত্ব থাকে, সেই দূরত্বটাকে কমিয়ে তাদের সফলভাবে তাদের ভেঞ্চারগুলোকে সফল করাই হচ্ছে আমাদের স্টার্টআপ বাংলাদেশের মূল লক্ষ্য।
If we are to embrace this idea of leave no one behind, we cannot fix ourselves to those who are already established. We need to focus on ideas and also entrepreneurs who are beginning, who are starting up.
First of all, I'd like to really congratulate the initiative of Bangladesh to come up with this really meaningful Century of Million Dreams initiative, which I believe will mobilize the so many talented individuals in the country and make their dreams realized.
Bangladesh, I think, has a tremendous story over the last 10 to 15 years, growing between 5 to 8% for over a decade. And this is already the 34th largest economy in the whole world.
Thank you so much, Zaman Bhai. I wanted to start with this, kind of a historical video, because what you just witnessed is the government of Bangladesh investing in homegrown startups in Bangladesh as investor. So at this point, we have invested in 7 startups, and we have shares of these startups, which has never happened before. So this is truly a historical initiative, a pioneering initiative for our government. And, why we are doing this. And one of the reason is, as I said, that our government is trying to diversify the export basket from, obviously RMG and pharmaceutical to very much technology-based product solutions, and also, freelancers. So this video is just showing a bunch of moments of launching Shoto Borshe Shoto Asha, which is an initiative that Startup Bangladesh Limited, the VC fund, wholly owned by the government of Bangladesh, launched this year, 2021, to commemorate Mujib Borsho, birth centennial of the father of the nation, and also to celebrate the 50th Jubilee, Golden Jubilee of independence of Bangladesh. We expect to make investment in 50 startups this year, and the amount is going to be 100 crore. And we have already did the 7. So, we still have 43 more to go. So I'm going to, because I work in the startup area, I'm going to focus on what's happening in the startup ecosystem. So the startup ecosystem is probably about I want to say about 6 to 7 years old. It's a very, very nascent infancy stage ecosystem, but it has done tremendous work in the last 6-7 years. The government came into play probably about 5 years ago, and I would like to show a presentation if I can share my slides. Can I share my slides, Zaman Bhai?
Yeah, you should be able to share.
Okay, thank you. Can you see it?
It's coming up.
Yes,
there it is.
See it.
All right, great. I thought that it would be helpful to see something on screen while I'm going through this. So what we are pitching for is that Bangladesh is the next new startup destination in Asia. And why do we say that? As you know, many of you know probably that during COVID, when many of the regional countries and our peers were having negative GDP rate, growth rate, we actually had a positive GDP rate, 5.2%. And this is from ADB. And some of the things that, has pushed it is, obviously we know some of these data points, Bangladesh is the one of the youngest country in the world. The e-commerce market really pushed up this GDP rate a lot because the market kind of proliferated during 2020. You know about Chaldal, you know about Daraj, Pathao, very, very active Shop Up, Shohoj, very active during this COVID period. There are the data on the ICT exports, which is, I'm sure the managing director of High Tech Park will probably speak about. And we are the 9th largest mobile user. Talking about the government, the way we have brought in technology in the government sector is, as you can see, that we provide 600 plus e-services in the government sector. During COVID, there was a huge rise in the digital cards that has been issued, obviously, because there were a lot of e-payment and whatnot. So that was just a quick, macro picture of what's happening in Bangladesh. And right now, what our investment focus is financial inclusion, education, employment skills, social protection, mental health, well-being, agri-tech, supply chain, and all of these are feeding into our making a Vision 2041 into that strategy. Because as you know, we have already made it to our Vision 2021 and to become a middle-income economy. And how are the startups going to assist in this national plan? Obviously, the startups are going to play a huge role in digital commerce, ICT, using emerging technology, and in every single area, fintech, health being, edutech, we are actually plugging in startups. The startup ecosystem is pretty robust, although it's very new. And I mentioned that, what happened during the last 5 years, where there is such a it's like, I call it like the ecosystem is in fire. What happened was in last 5 years, of the last 5 years, 4 years there was a lot of support from the government. And as you can see that, in 2016, Connecting Startup Initiative was actually launched by our ICT advisor, Mr. Shajib Bhattacharya. And that is what resulted into a grant platform, probably many of you know, Innovation Design Entrepreneurship Academy, launched by ICT Division. And it's about $25-30 million project, which started back in 2017. And so far, it has provided grant for about 200 startups. And once the government came in, the private ecosystem, the accelerators, and some of the VC funds, there were a couple at that time, they actually got a lot of moral boost, and they started to invest in startups. And what we have seen is that in the last 2 years, we have seen a bank actually launched a venture capital fund, IDLC Venture One. Also, we have seen VC funds such as Velocity Partners, Anchorless Bangladesh, which is a US VC fund, but totally focused in Bangladesh, coming into play. So my point is that, government has played a huge role to ignite the startup ecosystem in Bangladesh. And eventually, natural progression is, coming of this VC fund, which is, basically what we have now, Startup Bangladesh Limited. So Startup Bangladesh Limited, it really, even though it's a government-owned fund, it works as a private VC, and we work with all our stakeholders. And the stakeholders are, let's see, I wanted to show you. The stakeholders are, different accelerators that we have worked with. We also have some of these hackathons that has been going on. And right now, the biggest one that's going on is the Bangabandhu Innovation Grant. And this is being hosted by Idea Platform, as I mentioned before. And this is a global startup competition, which we have launched and which is right now ongoing to commemorate the birth centennial of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. And what's happening is with these type of initiatives, Bangladesh is kind of coming out as one of the players, hopefully it will be one of the key player in the startup ecosystem and getting the global attention. So when I say that, this Bangabandhu Innovation Grant, 156 countries participated in this. And we have selected 10 international startups who are going to come to this Bangabandhu Innovation Grant competition to get either equity funding or grant funding. So, we are kind of stepping out of our local arena. And through this process and through platforms such as Startup Bangladesh, we have made partnerships with UNDP, SCAP, accelerators in San Francisco, Silicon Valley area, in UK, where, they are learning that Bangladesh is trying to establish a startup ecosystem, which is, very, very, very important. Right now, a very, very quick data stack. When we started back 4 years ago, there was about 275 startups. But now, we have 2,500 very healthy startups in the ecosystem. 200 startups are, being born every year. And there is almost 40 accelerators out of that 25 are pretty active. Government fund-wise, Startup Bangladesh started with about 65 million. And then we have the IDEA project, which has about 25 some million dollar. And of course, we have the high-tech park and the software technology park, who are not only promoting the technology manufacturing sectors, but they are actually providing co-working space to our startups. So, we are working together on that. Very interestingly, in the last 4 years, remember our ecosystem is only 5 to 6 years old, but in last 4 years, the ecosystem generated 1.5 million employment. If you compare that to RMG, 4.5 million employment. So you can see that tremendous potential the startups have to, to generate employments, which is one of the final results that we want for our country. The other thing is, definitely SMEs is very important. And what we are doing is that our startups, some of the startups, such as, ShopUps, Sheba XYZ, they're working with SMEs and micro merchants. They're onboarding these merchants, and these merchants are using these aggregator platforms to provide their services, their boutique products and whatnot. So, obviously they're making a huge, the startups are making a huge contribution to the SME areas and to generate jobs. We project that, by 2025, the startups in a combined way would be able to contribute about 2% of the GDP. I already kind of mentioned a little bit about, how e-commerce played a huge role during pandemic. And, there are some just data points for this. The e-commerce market size is about, 2.1 billion. That's what we are projecting, and projecting to be 3 billion by 2023. And obviously, a very big job prospect. So e-commerce has been a big players in our system. And from our company side, we have the 7 startups that we have invested in, 2 are e-commerce. And I can share the names with you, the Chaldal, Patao, Sheba XYZ, and EduHive, which is an edutech startups. And mental well-being and health startup is very big in Bangladesh. We have done 2 of them, which is one is Moner Bondhura in a very early seed stage, and Hakacast, which is a diabetic platform, very early seed stage, but extremely promising. So why do I share this with this forum? The reason is I want all of you, the Bangladeshi diaspora here, to look into the startup ecosystem, explore coming in as angel investors, explore providing your knowledge. Many of you are in technological industry, probably from finance also, and not just funding. Knowledge is very important for our startups. So if you have that technical acumen, the business acumen, come and be an advisor, commit your time, commit your resources, financial or the intellectual, and we are very happy to onboard you for a startup in Startup Bangladesh. We do have a program, we call it Bangladesh Advisor in Residence, and we are right now recruiting committed folks who wants to contribute their time, and eventually if they want, they can become angel investors. So we have already started this from Menlo Park here with a couple of my Bangladeshi expats. And what we are asking for is that you adopt a startup for 3 to 12 months, and you give a committed time every month, probably 8 to 10 hours, and you mentor them, coach them. And eventually, if you want, you can also be an angel investor. Very quickly, because I don't want to take a lot of time, these are some of the startups where the IDEA platform made investments already. As you can see, these are 10 lakh taka grant, by the way. So in the last 3 years, about 16 crore, and it is increasing. And from Startup Bangladesh side, what we do, we invest in early seed through growth stage startups, and the ticket size is about 50 lakh to 5 crore, which is about $50,000, $60,000 to $600,000. And for the growth stage startups, they can come back for each series round. We do have a very, very robust and very deep due diligence process. So again, I would encourage all you here to probably just probably fund some of the startups or probably form startups, where we can contribute to different verticals under the mission, Making Vision 2041, the different verticals that we have in supply chain and human resource development, fintech and whatnot. I will probably stop here. And if there are questions, I'm happy to answer. There are some more slides I can just very quickly go through. Made in Bangladesh is our theme, obviously. We want to have startups made in Bangladesh, solutions made in Bangladesh, which is going to be scaled up and scaled up abroad globally. And of course, in our high-tech park, we have Mr. Bikarna Kumar here. I'm sure he will also talk more about Made in Bangladesh initiative. And at the end of the day, we want Bangladesh to be more inclusive and a very sustainable, eco-friendly, green country, so that we can make our SDG 30 goal. So, when we are investing in our startups, we do keep in mind that, are they providing solutions for agri-tech, so that, we can connect our farmers directly to the consumers. We use a gender lens, so it is also very much sensitive to ensuring that, we are funding startups by women founders. And for that, we are into partnership with SCAP, where we are going to work on a women leadership development program. What we are right now working into this year focus, other than the investment side, is to come up with a national startup policy, which is going to basically address a lot of the VAT tax, and then different type of policies, angel investment policies, which is more user-friendly for our angel investors, foreigners, so that we can bring in FDI. So basically, that is one of our area of focus. And the other thing is, definitely to build the women leadership program for startups. Thank you so much. Appreciate your very patient listening, and I'm open to questions. Thank you.
Very impressive presentation, Tinapa. Thank you.
Thank you, Tinapa, for very wonderful presentation. And I'm sure there are questions, and we'll come to the Q&A section for all the questions. But let's move on to Mr. Bikarna Kumar Ghosh, ব্যবস্থাপনা পরিচালক এবং অতিরিক্ত সচিব. Bikarna da, please take it away.
Can I have the screen sharing?
You can share your screen.
Okay, thank you very much. Now I can.
Bikarna, that we can see your screen now.
Okay, thank you very much. The webinar, the economic growth for technology development in Bangladesh for organized by American Association of Bangladesh Engineers and Architects. Chief guest,
Bikarna da, মাইক্রোফোনটা কাছে নিয়ে বলেন, অডিওতে একটু ডিফিকাল্টি হচ্ছে.
Okay, am I audible now?
Much better, yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Chief guest, Mr. N.M. Jiaul Alam, PAA, and Senior Secretary, ICT Division. Also present is China Ebjebin, MD, Startup Bangladesh Limited. Mr. Mahdi Jaman, Solution Architect, Team Leader of Amazon Services. Faisal Kadir, Chairman, AABEA CEC USA. Anis Salman, Chair, AABEA Tech Services, Tech Seminar Series. Mahdi Hassan, Minister Economic, Bangladesh Embassy in Washington, D.C., and also other participants. I wish you all a very, very good evening from Dhaka and good day in US. We are going to give you a brief idea about the Bangladesh High-Tech Park Authority and its readiness for global business. Before going to focus particularly on this area, I would like to pay my respect for his father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur. His dream was established and realized the golden power. I also like to pay my respect to Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, very visionary Prime Minister and leader of the nation, who is realizing the dream of the father of the nation in its modern form, Vision 2021 Digital Bangladesh, and the next destination, the Vision 2041. We are also grateful to Honorable ICT Advisor to our Prime Minister Mr. Shaji Wazir, who is the architect of Digital Bangladesh, who is actually leading us in the front. The leadership of Honorable Prime Minister, the nation has said, the first one is the vision Digital Bangladesh and anything country. Some of the components we achieved a couple of years back before and most of this component already achieved. Use of ICT as a very effective tool for our national development. Also, realize the other light. One is the My Village, My City, e-governance, and the power of the young. Our second milestone, Vision 2030, inclusive Bangladesh and to achieve all the goals of SDG, sustainable development, to leave one behind, and also to establish our dear motherland as upper middle income country. And the final one, Bangladesh as a developed nation, knowledge-based society, and also a high-income country by 2021. The real dream of the nation, and also the dream of the father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur. High-Tech Park is working on 4 areas. First one is the infrastructure sector. To establish high-tech parks, software technology parks, IT training center, incubation centers, so on different IT infrastructures. Second is to attract different kinds of investment and also from abroad in the form of FDI, and also to make a very congenial environment for investment. The third pillar is the startup ecosystem, as said by Tina Evgevin, MD. We are also providing co-working space for the startups in almost all our high-tech parks, software technology parks, and Sheikh Kamal IT training and incubation centers. And last one is the skill development for the whole nation, particularly for those who are working and planned working in our ICT investment in our high-tech parks. So for now, 8 high-tech parks are ready for investment. They are in operational state. One is the Kaliako, second is the Jasur, third one is the Karambajar. Nowadays is named as the Vision 2021 software. Select one in Rajshahi, one in Nako, one in Khulna, and other in Chirag. And by the end of this year, December 2021, another 8 high-tech parks Mayor Training Center will be ready for operation. 39 high-tech parks and software training parks we are going to establish, of course, with the leadership of Honorable Prime Minister. And in addition to that, each and every district will be having one IT training and incubation center named after Sheikh Kamal. In addition to that, 12 special IT parks are being undermade with Indian line of credit, one very high standard, global standard, our dream, Sheikh Hasina Institute of Frontier Technology, that will be the lighthouse for our ICT development. Might be that will produce another Silicon City here in Bangladesh. In addition to that, we are also trying to make our ICT environment more congenial, more friendly. Another project is going to be undertaken. These are, you can see, these are few buildings that are under construction. Aliapur, in Rajshahi, Sile, and also in other areas. So some are operational, some are under construction. In left side, you can see the dream of the Vision 2021 Tower 2. And the middle is the Sheikh Hasina Institute of Frontier Technology, just a iconic view. And on the right hand side, you can see the architectural design of the 12 IT project, 12 IT project that is going to be made under Indian line of credit. To attract foreign investment and also investment so many incentives. First one, 100% cashback in export to India revenue. Any foreign investor can take all his revenue. 10 years tax exemption from the very starting of the operation. No tax on profit. 100% ownership for the foreign investors. 80% VAT exemption on utilities in high-tech parks. 100% repatriation facilities for profit. Tax discount for foreign employees. 100% tax exemption on IT, ITS operator. Dedicated one-stop redressal program for the investors. And last of all, on the list, duty-free import on fixed capital and asset. They mentioned that Bangladesh far ahead in terms of incentive than any other countries for API. In addition to that, we are offering on-street services. Right now, 148 out of those 11 are being provided. First is the project registration. We are providing all services from the beginning to the end to online. This is the one stop. Second is the project clearance. In visa area, we are also recommending for visa provide and visa assistance. We are providing space allotment, land allotment, name clearance. In addition to that, work permit, local purchase, local sales permit, this all are provided through online services, monitoring services. Till today, 160 investors invested in our hydrocarbons. More than than 21,000 employment being generated. 43 startups has been facilitated with working space, and many are on board. More than 27,000 trainings have been provided to our investors, who are local people, and also the people who are willing for the investment in addition to startups. Recently, we have taken another very unique for supporting the startups. All the research data made by the university students, we are collecting those and we are facilitating those. Competition is underway. First 7,000 applications are selected from the university students. Out of those, 2,000 are primarily selected and then screened out. Till today, 100 remaining, and out of those, only 10 will be selected for the final round. They will be placed and they will be provided fund from high-tech authority, and also they will be recognized. And so that the research paper made by the university student for their final year will be evaluated and will be asset for them for the life. These are the small list of the big companies who are operating in our networks. Oppo, Nokia, Lava, Vivo, Mobile, Walton, Samsung, Sony Ranks, Fact Technology, Hyundai, Fleet, Tech, Lucasme, MM, Merix. Recently, Fair Group, in association with Samsung, right now assembling all the Samsung electronic products. There will be mobile phone, television, fridge, air condition. They just started assembling, and within a span of next 2 years, they will start manufacturing, and within next year, they will start export. Fair Group, in addition to Hyundai, are going to manufacture electric cars. On an average, the import of car in Bangladesh is about 25,000. Year 2023, Fair Technology and Hyundai will produce 1,000 electric cars. By 2025, they are planning to make 5,000 electric cars, and next onwards. Sony Ranks already started their land development in Sylhet High-Tech Park, named after the father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujib High-Tech City in Sylhet. They are planning to manufacture all the Sony products, particularly electronic products, in Sylhet High-Tech Parks. Nokia is going to manufacture the mobile phone set in High-Tech Park, July first week or second week, in association with this local company, the Vibrant Technology, one of the very emerging investor here, Mr. Marvin. With this company, the Vibrant Software, in association with Nokia, they are going to manufacture Nokia mobile phone set. You know Qualcomm, right now, the emerging IT company in Bangladesh. Probably Mr. Chairman of Qualcomm will speak about this. They already has got the offer of 85,000 laptops from the government side. And right now, the policy of the government is that what we are producing in our country, either assembling or manufacturing, we must purchase those from the government side, from our own companies. No outside company will be allowed to participate in the tender process. So we will ensure the marketing process of the companies who are going to manufacture or at least assembling here. About our readiness in IT skills to next level. Already trained up more than 125,000 young basic IT programs. In total, ICT division has trained up nearly 400,000 youths in this area. Out of those, 166,000 women have got the basic ICT training. 32,000 youths have been trained for the frontier technologies. Out of those, nearly 500,000 are working as freelancer. And right now, the total export in our IT sector is nearly $1 billion, and we are planning to make the figure to $5 billion by 2023. 100+ chief executive officers also have been trained from IT parks. More than 24,000 are trained up with Skill Up program by Bangladesh IT Park Authority. 33,000 have been provided various types of ICT trainings and skills development, 7 diploma on or postgraduate diploma courses. More than 1,000 women have been trained under IT Frontier Initiative, Women in IT Frontier Initiative. More than 1,500 have been trained up at the mid-level manager training through ACMP. And 3,000 have been trained with cybersecurity. Each and every year, nearly 15,000 ICT graduates are coming out from our different universities. So we are ready for all kinds of ICT infrastructure development, for ICT support, and also for the foreign direct investment. Manpower is ready. Our young generation is very, very innovative and fast learner. Very small sort of training, they can be converted into top class, all class IT professionals. So we are ready for the next level IT challenge. ICT division, as you mentioned, each and every district, there will be one IT training and innovation center. Right now, 8 is under construction. Sheikh Russell Digital Lab that is established in educational institutions. 8,000 is completely operational, and 5,000 is going to be operational maybe by the end of, say, next June or something like that. One very important specialized institution, the Sheikh Hasina Institute of Frontier Technology, our dream ICT institution, that will be established for all sort of ICT training, for irrespective of age and for the lifelong IT education. That will be the lighthouse of our IT education development and ICT development for the whole nation, the dream for the nation. To make our next generation ready and also highly skilled in IT area, 300 is full of future in light of the Finland IT education. Each and every constituency, parliament constituency will have one school of future that will be in Finland model. IT Park also has established 9 university-based incubation center and innovation hubs. In addition to those, 33 specialized labs has been established in 33 universities with a special focus on fourth industrial revolution, and also 20 digital entrepreneurship and innovation hubs also established. We are ready for the next level. Bangladesh has of our IT industry, the business side. Just going to give a just brief. We are the second largest freelancer. IT Park already provide training for 27,000 youths. Majority of them are working as freelancer. We are investing heavily on big data. Locally made data-driven solutions are being used by the global companies. Flexible on data, big data policy, opportunity for the global companies. We are establishing AR and VR labs in different universities. Already we have 4, and many other universities are going to have many others. Focusing on developing skill set of the year, working the target to provide training 5,000 youths by 2020. In addition to 33 labs in different universities, ICT division and also launch high-tech authority is going to establish many other labs in the universities for our next generation. These are the very promising areas for investment. Also, different kind of technology like blockchain, IoT, AI, machine learning, robotics, AR, VR, travel tech, IoT integration, mobile handset, consumer electronics, manufacturing and assembling, e-waste management, cycle, commercial and personal automobile assembly, manufacturing, battery tech, FPV, EV manufacturing, software development, industrial automation, semiconductor, chip design, manufacturing, and so many are the very important and potential sector. We need you all. We need all the intellects like you. We need professionals. We need academia. We need investors. There's a lot of potential for the trainers, startups, and also the whole IT industry. So let's put our hands together. We work for our beloved motherland. We realize the dream of the father of the nation, the Golden Bengal, and also the dream of the Prime Minister to transform the nation into a highly developed nation, a digitally ready nation, and also knowledgeable society. That's from my side. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bikran Kumar Ghosh, for very enlightening presentation. There's a lot to learn from here. We are really impressed the advancement that Bangladesh is coming with, and especially the formation of the high-tech park. So we'll have the Q&A after the presentations. The next one.
Anis bhai, if I may interrupt, Mr. Mehdi Hassan, the economic minister to Bangladesh Embassy, he just joined actually.
So উনি কি এখন বলতে চান না একটু পরে বলবেন?
না, উনি just introduce করাই দিতে পারলে বোধহয়।
আচ্ছা, তুমি তাহলে ইন্ট্রোডিউসটা করে দাও।
আমি উনি ছিলেন, I was observing the address. আপনি কি আছেন মেহেদি ভাই? I saw him joining for a few minutes. He's
okay. Let's move forward.
Anyway, I think he just dropped off. ঠিক আছে।
উনি আসলে আমরা তখন ওনাকে মানে সেই সময়টাই আমরা একটু লেটস।
হ্যাঁ, ঠিক আছে।
তাহলে এখন let's move on to Mahdiuzzaman Apu, and Mahdi, please go ahead with your presentation.
Thank you very much. Can you guys hear me okay and see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes, loud and clear.
Thank you.
Looking good.
Very good. So I just wanted to touch one thing. একটা দেখা যায় যে আমরা অনেকগুলো বড় অর্গানাইজেশন বা ইনোভেটিভ অর্গানাইজেশন করতেছি, but there is a foundational component which is people, the resources, and the resources actually make a big difference. And again, I work for Amazon Web Services. I manage the solution architects, especially targeting the enterprise accounts, larger ones like retail industry and consulting industry. In one individual can make a big difference, and that depends on the hiring practice of that organization. A lot of time আমরা যেটা দেখি যে we hire based on skills, really based on skills, and that has been changed dramatically, especially if you are going to be innovative, if you are in the higher technologies, if you are, you're using those things. A lot of time we know people, or একটা দেখা গেল একটা functional skill আছে যে programming জানে বা এটা জানে, which is good. You need to have that one, but that's not good enough to become part of it. So very quickly, because I really want to hear, these are very impressive things, even I'm learning. So আমি বাংলাদেশে যারা আছেন তাদের কাছ থেকে শুনতে চাই, there is a specific mechanism and methods that people are hiring right now. If we look at the আমরা যেটা বলি FANG বা Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Google, Netflix, Microsoft, Tesla, all of these organizations don't hire people just for their skills or your educational background. That's gone. In fact, Amazon right now has 73,000 open positions for every individual. Let me give you why I'm talking about this. 73,000 open position. হ্যাঁ, এটা হায়ার করতে হবে। তার মধ্যে 23,000 হলো গিয়ে টেক জব ওপেনিং, and 36,000 হলো নন টেক জব, কিন্তু ওই যে না যে ফ্লোর লেভেলের এমপ্লয়ি না। এই যে 23,000 বা 36,000, এই যে 73,000 লোক আছে, এদের প্রত্যেককে হায়ার করার জন্য অন এন অ্যাভারেজ আমাজনের 6 জন এমপ্লয়ি 2 ঘন্টা করে 12 ঘন্টা সময় স্পেন্ড করতেছে, মিনিমাম, অ্যাবসলিউট মিনিমাম টাইম। কারণ আমাদের তার ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ড নিয়ে একটু রিসার্চ করি আমরা, তারপরে তাকে ইন্টারভিউ নিচ্ছি, এবং প্রতিটা অন এন অ্যাভারেজ একজনকে হায়ার করার জন্য আমাদের 10 জনকে ইন্টারভিউ নিতে হয়। সো 73,000 লোক হায়ার করলে 7,30,000 আমার ইন্টারভিউ নিতে হচ্ছে। 7,30,000 ইন্টারভিউ যদি নিতে হয়, প্রতিটা ইন্টারভিউর জন্য যদি আমার 12 ঘন্টা স্পেন্ড করতে হয়, আমি 7.5 মিলিয়ন ঘন্টা আমি স্পেন্ড করতেছি, 7.5 মিলিয়ন আওয়ার্স স্পেন্ড করতেছি ইন্টারভিউ নেওয়ার জন্য। Why do they focus that much and spend that much money? Significant amount of money investment, তাই না? I think this is the crux of the startup. Amazon থেকে যারা চাকরি করতো, AWS থেকে, তারা এই মেথডটা শিখছে। এই যে আমাদের প্রত্যেককে ইন্টারভিউ নিতে হয়, একটা ইঞ্জিনিয়ার হোক, সলিউশন আর্কিটেক্ট হোক, যেই হোক। যখন তারা বের হয়ে গেছে, Amazon, people who left Amazon, they established that accounted for and they announced 1,50,000 startup, and some of them are a lot of them are over $100 million, and some of them are unicorns, or what we call about $1 billion startups. They used to work for Amazon, learn that mechanism, how to hire, use that, and became that good one. So I think this makes a big difference. Most of the time, there are some functional skills, very little, maybe 10 to 20%, I would say, emphasis, but there is a lot more skills that we need to survive and become an innovative organization at scale. If we don't, what happens is that they become our burden. It's not good for them, it's not good for us, it's not good for the organization, it's not good for the candidate. So you have to be candidate obsessed, and you actually have to know how to do that. And এক সময় আমরা হয়তো ভবিষ্যতে, আজকে আমি একটু কুইক করতে চাচ্ছি, I will walk you through. One of my credential is that আমি আমাজনে যদিও অল্প কিছুদিন, 19 মাস হবে এখন আমাজনে আছি, কিন্তু within that time I have conducted over 450 interviews myself, and each of the interview took me in the beginning 3 hours. Now it's taking me about 2 hours. অনেক efficient হয়ে গেছে। But I learned that why Amazon is becoming that successful and what is the reason for it. I work for a lot of other organizations. I'm sure you guys know all these things, but the interview has transformed, meaning the hiring practice has transformed, meaning that individual that we hire has transformed significantly. And I think that if we don't focus on it, it's going to be really hard for us to take an innovative organization and mature them and get them to a scale. So with that, I just wanted to say that the next generation hiring is completely different, especially if you're hiring for an innovative company, completely different. এই মুহূর্তে বাজারে 2025 সালের মধ্যে 29 মিলিয়ন, 3 কোটি স্কিল গ্যাপ আছে টেকনোলজিতে, ক্লাউড, এআই, এমএল, এআর, ভিআর, আইওটি, এবং সবগুলো অর্গানাইজেশন, বড় বড় অর্গানাইজেশনগুলো গ্র্যাব করার চেষ্টা করতেছে, যাদেরকেই পাচ্ছে তাদেরকে নিয়ে ট্রেনিং দিয়ে মানুষ করবে। যেই ট্রেনিংটা আগে $10,000 থেকে $15,000 খরচ করতে, এটা মাইক্রোসফট, আমাজন, গুগল সবাই পুরো ফ্রি করে দিছে, যে গো ট্রেন ইয়োরসেলফ বিকজ আই নিড ইউ। and any organization needs you. And of course, this becomes a significant potential asset who can take the company completely to a different level. And just giving a quick idea, 700 plus $1 billion unicorn এই মুহূর্তে মার্কেটে আছে যারা June of 2021. So I think this market is really big. We have a lot of facilities. We heard the government doing all those initiatives. We just need to get the right people. And to do that, there is specific techniques. And a lot of time we don't do that. And we, to some extent, not go in the right direction. So with that, I'm going to hand it over back to Anis Bhai because I'm really eager to hear rest of the story.
Thank you. Thank you, Mahdi Jaman. এখন যদি do you have Mr. Hassan, Economic Minister, here? Okay, we probably lost him again.
Drop করেছেন
Okay, so let's move on to our next panelist, Faisal Qadir. Please, Faisal.
Ji, okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Again, I'm Faisal Qadir, AABEA Central President. Beshi সময় নিব না. I think it's more important that we hear from our guest speakers. But what I'll do is, I like to give you a little bit background of AABEA, what's our mission, vision, and how does it, transform into growing Bangladesh. So again, thank you to our chief guest, Mr. Ziaul Alam, Ms. Tina Zabin, Dr. Ghosh, Mrs. Zaman, and Mr. Ziaul Alam. If I may quickly share my screen, just give me 1 second. এটা হচ্ছে না কেন জানি
You can share your screen.
Do I have permission to do so?
Yeah, of course. Anybody can share their screen.
Otherwise, I sent you the presentation, and if you like to do that, that's fine too.
I had difficulty opening that one. It got stuck twice. So,
oh, really?
Yeah. If you can open your own presentation, you can just talk to the audience if you have, because everybody is sharing. I don't see any problem for you to sharing.
Yeah, no, basically.
Okay, I can make you co-host and see that.
No, I think now I should be okay. Now I got it because it was giving me some technical setup actually in the Zoom setup. But anyway, can you see my screen now?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, excellent. So let me just quickly go over what AABEA is all about. Again, I'm not going to take more than 5 to 7 minutes because we're running out of time. So AABEA is basically American Association of Bangladeshi Engineers and Architects. This is it's a scientific and technical professional organization. Again, it's specifically for educational, scientific, and charitable programs that we do. It's a non-profit, non-political, non-religious, tax-exempt voluntary organization. We established our great organization in the state of Pennsylvania back in 1984. So we're running our 37th year, and we have many different chapters across the states. Currently, we have about 9 chapters, give or take: Silicon Valley, Southern California, Tri-State, which is New York, New Jersey, and then Washington, D.C., New England, North Texas, Michigan, and Arizona. So basically, what we do is we bring together and share ideas, technology, experiences among engineers, architects, and computer scientists, especially the professionals of Bangladeshis and North America. So if you ask a question that what's our mission vision, this is our mission, and that kind of tells you that we are really hungry. We are all expats. We like to give something back. আপনাদেরকে যতটুকু শিখেছি আমরা এই দেশে and যেটা নিয়েই কাজ করছি আমরা ইঞ্জিনিয়ারিং ফিল্ডে, we're ready to support you any way or shape or form. So we also do this advancement of engineering, architecture, and computer science professions, especially for Bangladeshis. And then we have seminars and other educational programs, one of which is happening right now. And last month, actually, Silicon Valley chapter, Shimul Bhai and the team, they put together an excellent forum, a business and technical forum for us. And then, so basically the objective is the mutual assistance and the cooperation between AABEA and other non-political organizations that includes, Bangladesh and the companies over there. And we help feasibility studies of various emerging technology and anything that concerns Bangladesh. We're ready to support you with our skills. And also we try to honor all the significant contribution to the technology in the engineering field, and that regardless of North America. I mean, we especially focus on Bangladesh a lot. I mean, the other day we were talking about a very young BUET graduate who was doing some tremendous amount of work in robotics and blockchain and whatnot. So we support them wholeheartedly. And then we do have a strong network of people. We have websites, we have newsletters. So I highly encourage you, especially the government of Bangladesh, to work together and then learn what we were here for and what we can offer you. And then what I'll do is, for the sake of time, I'm just going to skip over and kind of hone into a couple of things that we have been doing in the last few years. So let me just quickly talk about two things. One is the cybersecurity, and that happened to be my field, actually, so I can talk freely about that. Unfortunately, we are, let me give you the bad news. I mean, we're actually approaching a very, risky, and I would say kind of like a cyber war, if you will. So the way all the infiltration and the penetration and everything is happening around the world, Bangladesh is not immune to that. So if you look at the national critical infrastructure of Bangladesh, if you will, the cybersecurity touches everything. I mean, we think that cybersecurity is only for technology, but it is not actually. It's IT, it's a transportation, it's nuclear resources, energy, power, finance, food, government facilities, and you name it, cybersecurity touches it. And if, God forbid, anything happens, a few years ago, it happened to our central bank in Bangladesh. So I hope that doesn't repeat. So what we try to do as AABEA is, basically, we're trying to open up a cybersecurity center of excellence. It's a lab that will house all the up-to-date contemporary technology that we use in the US to protect our IT infrastructure. If we could build a lab or a center of excellence where any government agency or non-government agency in Bangladesh would call us and have hands-on training as to what is this latest and greatest technology is all about, how we can mitigate some of the risk, we can do the compliance and everything. So we can house those up-to-date, technological know-hows in our lab, and it's welcome for you to, join us and learn. So we're going to train the trainer, and then the trainer will train you in general. And if anything happens, if anybody has any question, the goal is to pick up the phone or send us an email, or pick up the phone and call the lab and in person be there and try it out before they implement that within their organization. So we did that initiative actually about 4 years ago. We made tremendous progress with the government of Bangladesh. And I think Mr. Qazi Zaman is here. He went there himself and then spent a lot of time. But unfortunately, because of some bureaucratic process, the progress has not been accomplished as we wished for. So we're revisiting this. And we need your help, if you could help us making it real. And then, so again, the objective is to build a cybersecurity knowledge center to support you all. Then also, there's this VLSI Center of Excellence. Dr. Jahangir Dewan is here. I think he did a tremendous amount of work to establish lab with some universities in Bangladesh. And that's up and running, but yeah, we wanted to have a central center of excellence where the Bangladeshi local talent will be trained, and they can, utilize and integrate these very large scale systems, and that would boost up the economy of Bangladesh as well. Then the nanotechnology, that is Dr. Anis Rahman, who is hosting this program, that's his expertise. He did quite a bit of work. I just wanted to highlight what we have been doing for the last couple of years. So that is also in Pike, and it has a huge market. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry that we have not tapped into. So we are here to help Bangladeshis in Bangladesh to progress, to make progress and make this particular lab a reality. And then also this computer aided engineering. I think, Zakir Bhai in Michigan chapter, he went there personally, and then he, inaugurated this particular initiative there, and it's up and running. So in general, basically, what can we do? What can we provide you back in Bangladesh that we all came from? If you look at the outsourcing hub, I used to run a large organization from US in GE in Bangalore, actually, GE Jack Welch Technology Center in Bangalore. We started off with 20 engineers. Today, there are about 929 engineers working in the Jack Welch Technology Center in Bangalore. And every time I used to go to Bangalore, I used to go to Dhaka, give talks to our talented engineers, and go to banks, financial sector, and universities, and government agencies. And I found something that our talent is no less than the talent in Bangalore or somewhere else. So why can't we build the next Bangalore to Bangladesh? I mean, there should be no reason for Bangladesh not to have the biggest outsourcing hub in the South Asia. And we, as the ambassadors in the US companies, should have the responsibility to promote our Bangladeshi talent and boost them up. Also, the call center. We run a lot of call center for all these US companies, and the call goes to our neighboring countries. I don't see why we cannot establish a massive call center in Bangladesh and establish that particular pillar as well. There are internship program and job placement program in the US that we conduct. We should hire. Now that we're all used to having remote work environment, so I don't see why we cannot hire Bangladeshi talent for US internship here. And then also we can collaborate with local universities and build engineering labs that we have been already doing for North-South, Buet, Chuet, Kuwait. I mean, there's a lot of other engineering association and the organization that we're part of that we have been helping. And then also in the public and the private sectors, we can do all this innovative emerging technology that we're doing. We can offload that to our fellow Bangladeshis over there. So anyway, my point is, like, the list goes on and on. So I'm going to stop there. Also, last few things is there's a big initiative for smart cities in Bangladesh. In every big cities in Bangladesh, there's a lot of development happening. We have been doing this in day in and day out here. And why can't we share the success and the challenges that we had, so that when you implement that or we implement with you in Bangladesh, we can work and collaborate and make it really a successful project. This traffic congestion, there's a lot of work happening there, but here also there is a strategic solutions that we're working on. Our civil engineers, structural engineers, they're working on transportation engineers. On the power and energy sector, we do have a lot of expertise in this audience as well from the power and energy that we can provide some support. And last but not least, to echo Tina Appa's comment, there's so many impressive startup incubators that are happening in Bangladesh. I think it's our time to help them out and invest in them, and also establish some development centers with local talents in Bangladesh. With that, thank you. I talked a little bit more than I thought, but again, let me give that back to Anis Bhai.
Thank you very much for your wonderful presentation. And of course, we'll go to the Q&A. But I don't know if Mr. Mahdi Hassan is present or not.
I don't see that, actually.
Okay. Well, let's move on. Kindly mute your microphone if you are not talking. But it's time to go to our chief guest. And may I ask Mahdi Zaman to give an introduction to our chief guest, Mr. Ziaul Alam.
Thank you very, very much. First of all, it's my absolute pride, pleasure, and honor to introduce our Priyo Zia Bhai, or NM Ziaul Alam PAA. Mr. NM Ziaul Alam PAA is at present the Senior Secretary of Information and Communication Technology Division. He is the immediate past Secretary, Coordination and Reforms of the Cabinet Division. Prior to that, he was the Director General of the Department of Immigration and Passport. He started his career as Assistant Commissioner, a member of the Bangladesh Civil Services Administration cadre in 1986. He is from BCS 84 batch. He obtained BSc Honors and MSc in Botany from the University of Chittagong. He did his second master's from the Brack University on Governance and Development in 2006. He served in almost all the core posts of the field administration like magistrate, assistant commissioner, land, UNO, ADC, ADM, DC, and divisional commissioner. Besides, he served as senior assistant secretary, deputy secretary, joint secretary, and additional secretary in different ministries and divisions. He was deputy project director of Astrayon, a project under the Prime Minister's office. He also worked as assistant returning officer, and divisional coordinator of national and local government level elections. So with that, it is my absolute pleasure to introduce our chief guest, Honorable N.M. Ziaul Alam Bhai.
Thank you,
please stop sharing. Faisal, let's stop sharing, please.
Yeah, I thought I did. Oh, okay. Are you still seeing my screen?
Yes, we are.
How come it's not stopping? In my side it stopped.
You are done now.
It's okay. Now it's okay, I believe.
Okay.
Now it's okay.
Yeah, thank you.
So with that, I'm gonna Zia Bhai, I'm gonna pin you so that everybody can see you right now. So thank you very much again, Zia Bhai. Please welcome to the stage.
Thank
Zia
you.
Bhai, please share your screen.
I have not any presentation, but that's why I think I'd like to talk without any presentation slide.
Okay, no
so
problem.
Thank you, Mr. Mariujaman Bhai, and thank you, Mr. Anis Rahman Bhai. Respected presence of today's very interesting and very important session that you have organized. I actually appreciate all of you for organizing this sort of very important session today. Thank you, Ms. Tina Zabin, for your very, very elaborate and informative deliberation today. Also, Dr. Bikarna Kumar Ghosh for your very nice presentation. Again, Mariujaman Bhai for the way the talent hunting is from the market actually is very interesting. You have shown us in your presentation. Again, thank you, Mr. Faisal Kader Bhai, for introducing American Association of Bangladesh Engineers and Architects, and also you have presented on cyber security and call centers and other scope. And I think there is some scope of call center and cyber security investment from American side in Bangladesh. At the very outset, I remember with deep respect and honor, the greatest Bengali of all the time, the father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. And we are being the birth centenary of our father of the nation, and also the golden jubilee of our independence. তাই প্রথমে আমি সবাই শুভেচ্ছা এবং জানাচ্ছি আমাদের স্বাধীনতার সুবর্ণ জয়ন্তীর শুভেচ্ছা। আমি কি আমাকে শুনতে পাচ্ছেন? আমার এখানে আনস্টেবল দেখাচ্ছে।
এখন শোনা যাচ্ছে।
এখন শোনা যাচ্ছে।
As you know, as the father of our nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, in 1974, in front of world leaders at the 29th UN General Assembly, said, "We will look to a world where humanity is capable of great success in the era of spending advantages in science and technology. By the equitable distribution of all the resource and technical knowledge of the world, the door to such welfare will be opened where every person will guarantee of a happy, you know, in our development vision, which is actually launched by our Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina in Vision 2021, Vision 2041, and Delta Plan. The Digital Bangladesh vision, which is enshrined in the Vision 2021, has led to remarkable progress with the direct implementation guidance of the Honorable ICT Advisor, Mr. Shajiv Wajed, the architect of Digital Bangladesh, and also the close supervision of our State Minister, Mr. Junaid Ahmed Polok MP. And as you know, the ICT division of Bangladesh is working very sincerely to enhance our digital Bangladesh, having a slogan that digital Bangladesh will be the Bangabandhu Sonar Bangla. In this regards, ICT division is taking various initiatives for human resource development, electronic governance, connectivity development, and ICT industry promotion to build a strong digital economy within 2041, which will be a milestone for us to build a developed Bangladesh. From the very beginning of Bangladesh journey towards digital Bangladesh, the government has emphasized on sustainable ICT industry growth. Keeping this in mind, the government undertook massive technology-driven actions for building the necessary infrastructure and connectivity for the ICT sector, providing policy support also and creating a skilled workforce. The government has a strong focus on developing a thriving ecosystem for partners and investors and also startups who are keen to work with the Bangladesh opportunity. In line with the growth in the foreign direct investment in the tech space, we are building, as already Vikarno mentioned, Dr. Vikarno, the MD of High-Tech Park, that we are building 39 high-tech parks and soft-tech parks around the country, and we already, out of them, 5 are already operational and 8 more are ready by 2021. Eventually, Bangladesh High-Tech Park Authority is going to build 64, this also mentioned by Dr. Vikarno, IT Incubation and Training Center across the country. We already are receiving a significant number of requests from global companies showing their interest to move their facilities in Bangladesh. As you know, Bangladesh is now ready to take next leap into digital economy. We are now exporting mobile phones, consumer electronics, and others. These all are actually mentioned by Dr. Vikarno. Very soon, we will achieve our capacity to export cars to the world. Our driving economy is fueling the market to a sizable one, from where investors can achieve a fortune in return. Now, Bangladesh High-Tech Park Authority is working to divert the investment into the local and global perspective by addressing the capacity development of local support industry and global assembling or manufacturing assistance. As we all know, strictly America has always been one of the biggest importers of goods from Bangladesh. Bangladesh exports are now shifting to its stance from ready-made garments and frozen foods sectors, and it is now moving towards the manufacturing sector. So tech manufacturing, light engineering, and steel are getting more investment. We are determined to build a self-sustainable digital Bangladesh, but not a self-centered Bangladesh. We believe in power of cooperation, collaboration, and partnership. One thing that we all know that the COVID-19 has taught us is that even though we have to be self-reliant, we all need to work together with our partners to build a better connected world. I think through this program, I therefore call to all the audience to come together and help us make our foothold stronger in United Nations of America. We will need to utilize our strength to expand our business horizon and make Sonar Bangla stronger. I think with this view, I'd like to conclude now, and I will share my views during question and answer Q&A session. Thank you all.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Jiaul Alam Bhai, for your very enlightening presentation. And I am sure this is just the beginning. We will have a lot more interactions going forward. So with that, I think it's time for our opening the floor for Q&A. So my request to everybody else that please stay muted unless you have a question, and one at a time. Unmute yourself, ask a question, not a comment or not a lengthy lengthy commentary, but please be pointed and ask a question. Thank you.
So, Anis bhai, this is Mizan Rahman. I have a question actually. So thank you, Tinapa. Your presentation is really informative and